Well, it seems as though all signs are pointing to the World Cup final being Lionel Messi's final game for Argentina, or at least his last time at the world stage that isn't like a Copa America or anything. Which even then, that would be a bit of a long shot, as he would be 41 by that point. Um, but if this was the end, um, what a career it was for Argentina. And I obviously did not, looking at me, I was not around to see the Diego Maradona days. That was not something that I do not remember any of that. Watching it in person or watching it on TV or anything like that. But watching Messi basically carry a country, because that's what it was. And I know that a lot of people, their idea of Messi is interesting, because over the last 5 years, because I believe he retired in 2018 from the international stage, because he had another loss in the Copa America. And when that happened, it was just shocking to me that you would have somebody who was so clearly and always really good, except for the 2014 World Cup final, but that was a phenomenal Germany team. But you would have someone who was always so good, but just never won and never got over the hump. And when you look at how things have transpired over the last 7 years now, man, his legacy is a lot more different than what it would have been. Because in this time, he's made it to two World Cup finals, won one of them, lost the other one as it just happened, and won two Copa Americas. Right, he was I believe the only person to have won the three big tournaments in a row, or at least I believe if he had won the World Cup final, that he would have been the only player to have done it four times. I believe he was also the only person to start in three World Cup finals. And what's funny about all of this is that with this Ronaldo and Messi debate that has really been a part of my entire life, because that's what it has been, right? Ronaldo and Messi have basically been playing, not basically, they have been playing longer than I've been alive. So my notion of football or soccer is shaped around these two battling it out. Right now, I'm a Barcelona guy. Right, that was the team that I always grew up with. That was something that was just always preferred. And what's funny is I have a lot of respect for, or not what's funny, but I have a lot of respect for Ronaldo. I have absolutely loved Messi. That has been my pinnacle of excellence. That has been how you carry yourself as a player. That has been how you live your life in the big moments. That has been how you carry yourself, just as a person. Even with Messi, he's a lot more of a reserved guy, which that is that's his thing. Um, and it has been really cool, at least, to see Messi not only at my favorite overseas team, and also my favorite soccer team for the majority of my life, because my soccer team in the United States came into formation in 2020. Obviously, we know what happened in 2020, and they started playing in 2023. Right by that point, I I'd been a Barcelona fan basically my entire life at that point. And so, whenever he came over to the United States, and I believe it was 2024 was when he first came over to Inter Miami, I tried to get tickets, right? I tried to get tickets to the game. And of course, he decided let's not go. So that was a fun experience buying the tickets for all that. But, staying on track. He has meant so much to so many people, and to the game itself, but also to the game in the United States, because he has brought the MLS up, right? More than what a Beckham could, more than what a Zlatan could, more than what any of these stars who come in, bet more than, I'm trying to think of any other massive stars, maybe a Pele, but that was before the MLS was a thing. He has really dominated the game, but has also brought up the competition level, the viewership, the care for the league that is my own, I guess. And looking at it from that aspect, yeah, That is something awesome, and I will love to continue watching him in the MLS for Inter Miami. And I know I say in the MLS, technically it's in MLS, but that just sounds weird. So if you want to be like a football purist, or I guess a soccer purist, you can get mad at me for that. I'm not going to change that because it just sounds right to me. And yeah, um, but like looking at his international career, even now he's still maybe the best player in the world, because for this Argentina team, you think of, oh, right, they're doing it for Messi and whatever. Not really. Yes, their motivation is all for Messi. But man, his attackers haven't done much outside of him. Like, it has been a one-man crew. Because if I were to tell you the like um goal contribution numbers, how many would you guess Messi had? Like, maybe 6, right? Like a smooth 6, those teammates are up there with him. Nope. He's the only player on his team above 5. And he has 12. Messi's team let him down yesterday, and they've let him down on the attacking front as well. Because nobody on his team has an expected goals added above 4. He has 10. Like, nobody on his team could contribute anything relatively great offensively, and most of their strikes came, courtesy of a Messi assist. And what's funny is I don't know if this is the last time that he physically could play a World Cup. I think he very well could in 2030. It's possible, but I don't know if he would want to do that. But it has been an absolute joy watching Messi, and the way that this team has rallied around him is really interesting. It's very interesting to watch, because the way that you have, like, I made a video similar to this about Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo, where you have Portuguese players kind of talking about, oh, well, Ronaldo's just another player and we want to use him. No. Messi is the man in Argentina, right? And that, with the fan base, yeah, duh, obviously. It's the same thing with, Ronaldo in Portugal. But the players worship him. They idolize him. Like, some of the press conferences that they have been a part of, it's like, okay, man, like, you don't have to constantly make it about Messi. Like, enjoy the moment for yourself and all that. And I think that what's really cool about that is, knowing the story of Lionel Messi, right? Where, he has, I forget the name of the condition, but to where he would have been, a very short individual, right? He has to get on human growth hormone, in his early teens. And even just then he, just gets, tall enough to a point where he could, play. Not like there's a height limit, but you can't have somebody who's, extremely short playing. And, knowing all of that, knowing the stories of him, right? Knowing, his history and all that, no, it's no wonder that his team rallies around him so much. And it's very interesting watching someone who's not the biggest, not the fastest, not the strongest, but someone who's just so technically gifted to where it doesn't matter. And I think that's something where that's like the ultimate, like, quote unquote underdog story, right? You have like a David versus Goliath, right? And the Goliath is, built, right? Like, he's biggest, fastest, strongest, and you just have someone who's just smarter than everyone, and that person being Lionel Messi. And it was an absolute joy to watch him play ball for this many years for Argentina. Who knows if he keeps going? And, if he does, I'll probably make another one of these videos. But it has been absolutely just fantastic, watching him play. But really, I just wanted to, come on here and just talk about Lionel Messi for what could be one last time in the World Cup for Argentina. But that's really about it. This has been the Scoop with Coop. I'm, of course, Coop, and until next time, so long, everybody.